six foes and weed smoke. Butterfly doors, mink coats, and clean clothes. Shit, that's all a nigga knows. Sliding, dipping on 84s, wrapped in foes. Cold, I'm too froze, so part in my rose gold. Bank rolls and city lights, living that life, so we going hard like every night. That's every night. Stuntin', flexing, I'm on, nigga. Green gang supreme, don't get it wrong, nigga. Hold on, nigga, Why I pull up a foe? Broads already naked before we step through the door. No need to give us a second, we bout to get them a show. Paying these bitches tuition soon as they get on the floor. Yeah, so give it up for 'em. Toast blowing money fast, so we had enough for 'em. Ain't throwing money, we just throwing dreams, hoping they can catch it. Having the clear conscience, acting reckless. They riding on foes, pocket full of dough. Haters gon' hate, but you already know.
What's good, amazing fam? I want to welcome y'all back to another episode of the It's So Amazing podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, you can catch us every week on your favorite podcasting app on Fridays. That's when we drop. If you want to watch the video version of this podcast, you can catch it on my YouTube channel. That's Amazing Films, AMAYESN Films. That's where you can catch the video version of this podcast. Let's get into it. What's good with y'all, man? It's been a hell of a week, a tiring week, but the show must go on. So let's get straight to it. So I want to talk about HipHop List. And the reason I want to talk about HipHop List because HipHop List been coming out for years now. And people been ranking where albums go or where artists go. And it seems like every time these lists come out, no matter what publication puts this list out, you're always going to get some kind of blowback or some kind of disdain or discourse for, oh, they don't know what they talking about. Why they didn't put this person on here? They forgot about this person. You're never going to get a list that's just perfect. But the question I want to ask is, why are they made to begin with? I think these hip-hop lists are made, one, for discourse, for discussion. They want to drum up some kind of, I don't want to say hype, but they want to drum up some clickbait, some back and forth talking to get people discussing, get people's brain moving and stuff like that. It's also, like I said, it's good for clickbait. When you have somebody like Rolling Stone, who's known mostly for like, you know, rock and roll, stuff like that. They do post hip hop. They have done that over the years and stuff like that. But when you get somebody like Rolling Stones that put out they top 200 rap albums of all time, with them putting it out from the beginning, you already know that's a red flag because Rolling Stones is not primarily or predominantly black and for hip hop culture. So you should take whatever they come out with a grain of salt to begin with, but it never fails. People always fall for the okie doke. They fall for it. Rolling Stone reaps in the benefits of people going to their site or their magazine. I don't know if they still put that magazine out or not, but and they fall for it every time. And it's like, bro, don't y'all get tired of people putting out these lists and get y'all all riled up every single time? It's like, at some point, you should know why they doing this to begin with. You know they doing this to pull at your heartstrings. And for the main grand scheme of things, they really just doing this for clicks. Everything when it comes to quote-unquote news and media these days, it's for clicks. That's what you want. You want views. You want people to check out what you got. I'm not even going to go as far as say that I don't do that when it comes to my content and stuff like that. You want people to check out your content, but at the same time, you want to do it in a elegant and kind of organic way. You don't want to just be putting out bullshit ass titles or bullshit ass thumbnails that has nothing to do with somebody when they finally click on the video or the audio or whatever they consuming, and it's not what it's supposed to be advertised as. So you want to present what people clicked on the video for at the same time, but you want to think like, come on, bro, you got to get people engaged. You got to get people to wanna click or wanna consume that content. Now, does this benefit anyone in the end when it comes to HipHop List? Me personally, I feel like it could be a catch-22. I feel like it can benefit the publication or the website or whoever, the person on Twitter, whoever think they got some kind of validity and want to put out a list and stuff like that. Like, it's always been going on. You have people like B Dot that used to be on the Rap Radar podcast. He put out a best rapper list every year, and every year people have a problem with his list. And that's the problem. It's his list. How can you get mad at who he wants on his list? He didn't say this is the quote-unquote 100% consensus. These are the top rappers ever. Fuck what you talking about. I know who it is. He didn't say that this is my list. And that's what people got to realize. These are people opinions. Everybody has an opinion. Some people opinion is right. Some people opinion is wrong. Some people opinion is iffy. You don't know. You can't take everything with a grain of salt, bro. You can't just consume everything that somebody say and collect it as gospel. It just doesn't work like that. But I do think it benefits the publications or the said person that puts out these lists because, again, it gets the clicks, it gets the hype, it gets the people talking, and it keeps people's name and publications in the news cycle for another day or a week. Because let's keep it a buck, this stuff that's going on ain't lasting over no lifetime. It ain't lasting for no whole month or two. People gonna be talking about this shit for a couple hours on whenever the shit drop. Maybe a day, another day or two after that, it's on to the next thing. That's just how people is when it comes to this stuff. But I want to know, why do people get so mad, so irate? You have somebody like Westside Gunn out of the Griselda Collective. He always is feeling snubbed because people don't mention him or mention Griselda counterparts when they put out these lists, particularly B Dot when he put out his list. And I get it. People feel like B Dot is somebody that's for the culture, that represents hip hop. He knows what this hip hop thing means, so they feel like he should be more in tune with what people is fucking with. But that comes back to subjectiveness because, again, people have their own opinions. This person might think Westside Gunn and Who Is Conway and Benny the Butcher is the greatest thing ever. And then this person over here might think, them niggas trash, bro. Ain't nothing special about them. They only popping because they have a quote-unquote quintessential nostalgic sound that everybody used to love. And that kind of stands out when you listen to the whole totality of what people is putting out today. So people can have their own opinions and they can have their own backing points of why they feel how they feel on a certain situation. But I think at the end of the day, it's just people opinions. You can't get mad at it. You shouldn't get mad at it. You should just take it for what it is and move on, bro. If you don't think somebody's list was good enough or up the par, put out your own fucking list. I just don't see why people always, and it's always us, really get mad when these motherfuckers put out these lists. These lists don't matter, bro, because 9 times out of 10, the people that's writing these lists, they don't fucking matter. They ain't nobody. They ain't put in no work. How do we know they even care about hip hop to begin with? You know what I'm saying? We don't know who writing these articles. It'll say such and such wrote this article, but where's the picture? Where's the resume of what this person done did to be able to even speak on hip hop to begin with? So that's why I say, like, stop getting mad at these people for putting out their opinion. It's an opinion, bro. Everybody has them. Let's move on. Speaking of moving on, let's talk about Summer Walker. Summer Walker is one of the best R&B acts that we done had in the last few years. She done put out 2 albums as I'm recording this. Her first album, debut album, smash. I think it's a classic. I remember when I first heard it, it was a breath of fresh air, from the beats to the songwriting to her vocals, how it was just packaged all together. Chef's kiss. I liked it. Now, when that album first came out, Summer was kind of like doing interviews, and in her interviews, she was kind of like awkward. You can tell like she wasn't kind of comfortable doing the interview, and that's a lot of people these days. They don't really feel that comfortable being in front of the camera or talking to people, because I feel like the young people that's growing up in today's age, when it comes to the social media, everybody communicates on social media. So when it comes to real life, a lot of people don't have a life outside of social media. So when it comes to talking to a real person face to face, being in a room with a person, it's kind of like, whoa, I don't know what to do. People feel nervous. They start sweating and they stuttering and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really know how to act or communicate when it comes to real live people. They can do it through text messaging, through apps, through shit like that. But when it comes to face-to-face communication, a lot of people don't like that. They don't like to be around a lot of people. Now, I'll speak for myself. I'm quote-unquote semi-antisocial, but I won't put myself in that category to the main extent. I didn't grow up on social media. Like, I was outside before social media came out. And when I say I was outside, I wasn't saying I was outside doing crimes or no shit like that. I was just a kid that was outside having fun with my friends and shit like that. But as we grew older, social media started to come. Facebook, MySpace, Black Planet, all that shit. Now we got Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, all this bullshit. A lot of people is starting to live through social media and create personas through social media, so that in return they become antisocial. Now, in Summer's perspective, she does deal with social anxiety. So when she put out her first album, the album was critically acclaimed. It did great. The fans loved it. The people loved it. The publications loved it. But when it was time to do shows and do meet and greets, that's where the problem lies. Now, she started to cancel some of her shows. She started to cancel some of her meet and greets. And a lot of fans was like, how the fuck can you do that, bro? Like, we champion you. How you gonna leave us out here? We want to meet you. We love you and shit like that. But at the same time, if she's socially awkward and has social anxiety, can we actually fault her for not want to put herself in those situations when she knows she's not good to begin with? Now, the question I want to pose is, are today's artists and athletes soft these days? And the reason I want to know that, because I feel like this is not the first time that artist was socially awkward or didn't want to be in front of a camera and stuff like that. I don't even want to be in front of a camera. Like, I tell y'all, like, when I get in front of these cameras to put these pods out for y'all, like, it's hard because I'm always thinking about what I'm talking about when it comes to my subject, and I'm thinking about how do I look on the camera? How am I coming through? You know what I'm saying? You want to look presentable. You want to look okay. You don't want to be out here looking crazy and shit like that. It's just, you never know, and you never kind of really get okay when it comes to being in front of a camera or being in front of a crowd performing and stuff like that. So I can understand where Summer is coming from, but at the same time, it's a part of the game when you're an artist. You have to shake hands and kiss babies. Excuse me. That just comes with what it is when you talk about this rap game and this R&B game and hip-hop game as a whole. Now, could Summer Walker be a bigger artist if she didn't have social anxiety? Me personally, I think she could be out of here if she didn't have social anxiety. I feel like her social anxiety does hinder her when it comes to her music, because she has the package. She has the look. She looks good as fuck. She can sing. She can actually sing. She has the music that people actually like and care to consume. So it's like, if she got the total package, the only package she doesn't have that she's missing is being social, being out there performing for her fans, doing meet and greets, interacting with her fans. It's like, that's the only thing that's stopping her from being, I ain't gonna say on a Beyonce level, but I feel like she could be this generation's top superstar R&B singer if she didn't have the social anxieties to begin with. Now, do y'all think, even with Summer Walker's social anxiety that she deals with, could there be a superstar that has these kind of qualities when it comes to anxiety and depression and stuff? Do you think they can still become superstars if they just put out the music, say, hey guys, I got an album coming out, the album dropped, the album is great, the fans love it, but they don't really do anything else? They don't do no touring, they won't do no shows, they don't do anything else when it comes to this music shit besides just putting out the music. I don't think that could work. I know excuse me. I know that The Weeknd kind of found himself in that situation in his early days. We didn't even know what The Weeknd looked like when he first came out. You just heard the music. You was like, who is this guy? But as he progressed on, he started to open up, started to put himself out there. And when he finally blew, that's when you was like, okay, he's finally taking it serious. He's finally getting out there, putting himself out there. And that's when he skyrocketed. And now The Weeknd is one of the biggest global artists that's out there. So I feel like it's a catch-22. I feel like maybe you could be a superstar and still have social anxiety, but at the same time, I feel like you gotta have the other intangibles and be able to do the other things if you want to reach that height and that clout. You have to be. You can't just be putting out music and then going in the house and then that's be the end of it. It just can't. Now, speak of staying in the house, let's talk about T-Pain, man. Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy pinned her ass down. T-Pizzle. He put out a quote this week, and I did a video on it on my YouTube channel if y'all want to check it out, about him making more money playing video games on Twitch than actual music that he's done put out. He said in the last 4 years that he's done made more money playing video games on the internet than actually putting out quality music. Now, I'm not going to say that T-Pain hasn't put out quality music. I feel like T-Pain is such a talent that whatever he puts out is going to be good. It just depends on if the people is going to accept it for what it is. Now, when he said this, I had two thoughts. One, I was like, cool, that's tight that T-Pain is able to have like a second career doing gaming and streaming and stuff like that. But at the second point, I kind of felt bad because it's like, does this speak more to the game and where the game is at now, where these artists can't make any money from their music and they can't make any money from their art? It's all about doing all this extra shit, like, I don't know, shit like TikToks and car giveaways and all this other shit that doesn't have to do with music. And it's like, bruh, when are people gonna be able to be respected and make money from their art that they put out? I feel like with today's age, that's why a lot of artists don't even want to do any music to begin with, because they got to jump through these hoops and do all these gimmicks. And it's like, bro, I just want to make my music. I want to put it out. I want the fans to love it. And I want to be compensated for the art that I created. And I totally agree with that sentiment. But these days, you can't just be a rapper going back or a singer going back to Summer Walker and just put music out and it be good and fans like it. You have to do more. They want you to be more vocal. They want you to be more visible. They want you to do a lot of extra shit that a lot of people don't want to do. So I really don't think people can just stick to the art and to the music. They gonna have to do these extra things, man. Like I don't see it, man. But why do these artists have to do these things outside of music to begin with? Like, is it because the contracts are bad? Like, they not making that good enough money or getting a good enough percentage from their music and stuff like that, so they finding other avenues to kind of get their money in lucrative deals and stuff like that? Is it that? Or is it that the fans are just so fickle these days that they love you one minute and then the next minute you look up, they not fucking with you anymore? I feel like in T-Pain's situation, I feel like it could be a little bit of both. I feel like on one hand, T-Pain had a hell of a run. He was making hit after hit after hit after hit. He was making a lot of money, or we thought, because another thing T-Pain said maybe a couple years ago, he was saying a lot of those features and shit that he was doing, he was just swapping it out with artists. He wasn't charging these artists, which in hindsight, well, not in hindsight, when you looking at it at the beginning, you thinking, oh, this nigga racking up, he killing, he on everybody's song, he making all his money. But when you doing swaps and you not charging people, you getting a publishing because you wrote the song and stuff like that, but you ain't getting your fee. And he said what happened was when he quote unquote got cold and people wasn't fucking with him no more because they thought he done fell off, he couldn't get those same people to get on a song or do something with him now because they looked at him like, oh, your run is over, so nah, I'm not doing no song with you. And that's the fucked up thing, because when he was hot, everybody wanted a track. And everybody was doing this shit for free. But now, when he want to do something or he want to reach out, now niggas looking at him funny in the light. And I just think that's the fucked up part of the game, where people are not honorable and they don't look out for people that looked out for them when they was up and doing their thing. I don't like that at all, man. But is it out with the old, in with the new mentality? Or is this just power for the course? It's just part of the game. T-Pain ain't nobody new that ain't dealing with this. That's just how it goes. Everybody that comes in the game is gonna get to this point at some point in time, and it's just T-Pain's turn. Me personally, I feel like some artists that don't keep up the quality of music or don't keep up the visibility, they deserve to lose their fans. They deserve to not make the same money that they was making. But when it comes to an artist like T-Pain is that nigga, bro. Like, it doesn't matter what year it is. I feel like anytime you listen to T-Pain, you're gonna get quality music. Like, I ain't never really heard no bad song from T-Pain, bro. Like, he ain't really put out, when he put out singles, I'm talking single-wise, and he got some great albums. I'll put his albums up against a lot of people's albums. It's like, he has the total factor, the total package, so I just don't understand why people done turned their back on T-Pain to begin with. I even remember when Jay-Z was on that death of auto-tune bullshit, and people was on a wave of, oh, auto-tune is over, Jay-Z killed auto-tune. Jay-Z ain't kill shit. But when that was happening, that was a real feeling and a real thinking point, and T-Pain fought through that, and he still came out on top, and he was still doing his shit. He still had smashes after that. But it's just crazy how fans are so fickle, bro. Like, and that's one of the things when you're dealing with this music shit. When you got it, when you get like a little buzz or a little taste of this shit and people fucking with you, you need to get that ball and you need to run with it for dear life. Don't let go. And you need to run as far as you can until that shit is over, because once they catch up with you and it's over, bro. I ain't really seen nobody that was up here, and then all of a sudden they quote unquote fell off and then came back. I can't think of anybody that was like that. I just don't see it, bruh. Once people is done with you, they done with you. They build you up to tear you down. That's a quote that 50 Cent always says. So shout out to that boy T-Pain. Hopefully the game moves in a different way. People get better with supporting these artists and stop throwing these artists away like they do, because these artists deserve to get paid from their actual music. They shouldn't have to be out here whoring themselves out for any little buck or any little dollar that they can get because you don't want to check out their music. I just don't fuck with that at all, man. Now, before we get out of here today, I want to ask the question of today, or the question of the week. And that question is, if Tory Lanez is found not guilty, will people still believe Meg, or will they look at it like, how I want to put this? Will people still believe Meg, or will they look at it like the justice system failed Meg and we still believe Meg and shame on men, death to men? You see how a black woman has to go through all this shit and people still don't believe her. Will it be that, or will people say, fuck Meg, you a fucking liar. Why did you lie on this guy? You ruined his career. Which one do y'all think it's gonna be? Me personally, I feel like if Tory is found not guilty of these crimes that Meg is insinuating that he committed, I feel like ain't nothing's gonna happen to Meg. And if you've been paying attention to what's going on, like she did the Gayle King interview, laying it out for people, putting out the crocodile tears and stuff like that. Now she's done a Rolling Stone interview where she's shitting on her best friend, because you know everybody been looking at this shit funny in a light, like, why did your best friend, why did y'all break up to begin with? Because she been trying to paint this narrative that she didn't have nothing to do with this. Even in the Gayle King interview, she contradicted and lied and said that she was in the front seat, people was arguing in the back seat, and she wanted to get out the car. But when academics read the police reports, the witnesses in the neighborhood where the shooting, quote unquote, happened, the people that was looking out their windows that lived in that neighborhood said they saw two women fighting and getting out the back of the car or the van or whatever, the SUV that they was in. So which one is it? And she keeps lying when she's coming out here offering this information up. I feel like if she would be quiet, more people would actually believe Meg and support Megan in her fight against this heinous crime that Tory Lanez did to her. But she keep opening her mouth, and every time she opens her mouth, she puts her foot in her mouth, and I feel like that's gonna be something that comes back to bite her in the end, and it's gonna be a good look for Tory, because I'm pretty sure Tory's lawyer is taking notes of all this shit that she's saying, and they gonna use it in Tory's benefit. But like I said, I feel like if Tory is found not guilty, she's not gonna lose her career. People are still gonna back her and be like, oh, see how they do us, see, they never believe us, stuff like that. It's so hard for women, yada yada yada. You know the narratives that they like to play. They gonna push those narratives, and I just hope. I'm not saying Tory is guilty, I'm not saying Tory is innocent, but if he's found not guilty, I want to see somebody get some justice, kind of like Johnny Depp just got from his Amber Heard case. But I want to thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of the It's So Amazing podcast. I'm your host, Boss the Truth. I really appreciate y'all for fucking with your boy, checking me out every week. And if this is your first time tuning in, like I said, you can catch us every week on your favorite podcasting app. You can also catch the video version of this podcast on my YouTube channel. That's Amazing Films, AMAYES, the letter N, Films. And that's where you can catch the video version of this podcast, man. I really appreciate y'all fucking with me every week. And yeah, man, I'll catch y'all next week. Holla at your boy. We out this thing. Peace.